What's up, Speed Demons of YouTube? Shovelhead Sam here again. This is the little tour of my bikes. Both of them. Well, these two are mine. This one's a friend's. But yeah, here is my 2005 Sportster. I call her Stuka. Again, I got the Viking bag set up on that. I did a lot of work to this. I got her in 2013, so I've had her. She's a 2005. Had her whole life. Again, we got the Viking bags, Joker machine on the rear floorboards, and obviously we got OG Garage. I believe that orange one was. I got that a while ago. And the Flow MX pegs, Screaming Eagle on those. I took a wire brush and nailed the fuck out of my primary to give it that kind of patina look. You know, I'm a big fan of the Indian Larry stuff, so you know, at the end of the day, is it perfect? Is it the prettiest? No, but I just really wanted something on my shit that didn't look like everybody else's, so that was where that came from. Again, the old school fork gators, drag specialties bars, riser there. Eventually I got to get the boosted brads, the death metal racing ones, but we got more thrashing supply and Arlen Ness on the downdrafts there. Come around here if I don't trip and kill myself. Got the, again, that was an aftermarket sissy bar, and I just kind of fabbed up a bracket to mount that backrest in the Viking bag on there. We got the progressive slam suspension. Right now we're rolling an Arlen Ness and Vance and Hines, but the Vance and Hines eventually are going to go away for a Trasker Thunderheader. Of course, LaPera on the seat. I know Saddleman versus LaPera. I've always been a LaPera guy, mostly because I think I have older bikes. Of course, we have, that stands for Shovelhead Sam, among other things. If that offends you, you're in the wrong fucking place. If that offends you, you're in the wrong place too. We like guns a lot on this channel. We'll get into that a little later, but yeah, motorcycles, guns, and heavy metal. So you've been warned. But obviously there we have the Sportster. I call her Stuka after the German dive bombers back in World War II. And now we have Lucy. Lucy is the 1980 FX Wide Glide. It's the first year of the Wide Glide. I named her after Lucy Westenra, Sadie Frost's character in Dracula, because hey, she's a whore of darkness and a bitch of the devil. So the classic Wide Glide here. And when I got this bike, she was dressed up as an FL actually, and those are the original tins there, which I actually have mounted in my workspace. But she was set up like an FL, and we had this front fender on here, which is fucking cool as hell. There's some cool 80s chopper art, and I never did get the full story off of the family of the original owner as to who these guys were, if these were riding buddies, if this was a club thing or what, you know, I never did find out, but it's some cool artwork. And back to the bike, our dearly departed original owner, God rest his soul, definitely knew his way around the wrench, because certain things, when I bought the bike, like this BDL badass open drive primary, this S&S top end kit, those were already on there. And I added other stuff to it. Obviously the Thrash and Supply Company, that was me. I redid the bars, added the Arlen Ness mini stalkers, glued on the right here the iron crosses, Eisenitz and the skull rider, that was there. And this skull, actually there were originally two of those, and one of them, when I took it out on its first test ride, that ate shit off the side of the bike, so I only had one. So I go, fuck, I don't want the original 80s skull going anywhere. Better glue his ass right to the middle of fucking air cleaner, which I did. That, again, that was something from the original owner, but the plated steel like Dimebag's guitars used to have, so obviously I just kept that right where it is. But I put my little mark on it right there, Shovelhead Sam, wink wink. We got the original skulls. Yeah, obviously it goes without saying, it's a channel about motorcycles, but if skulls and lightning bolts offend you, you are seriously in the wrong spot. Not that I give a fuck. Of course, and right here we have the POWMIA, and that's a tribute to the Vietnam vets, and also the man who taught me most of what I know about how to wrench on motorcycles, how to do this. The guy who really took me under his wing, his name was Kent. Yeah, still dear friend, father figure, mentor to me. He was a veteran of the 173rd Airborne Division, fought in Vietnam. So, you know, a lot of the Nam generation that came back from Nam, they jumped on these bikes. And so that was a tribute to them. You know, when I was a little kid, wanting to, you know, growing up in the early 90s, these guys are bombing around on these bikes, and it's just that freedom, that I don't give a fuck what society thinks, forever two wheels, you know, living outside the boundaries, outside the norms, and outside the law in many cases. That was always something I could relate to. So here they are, Stuka and Lucy. Roll, baby, roll. But these are my bikes, and obviously we're going to see these as it warms up here, because right now in Tennessee it's cold as shit. But once the springtime comes, you're going to see these two go on a lot of adventures. So again, ride safe, throttle up, and have fun.